Hello, everyone. You're listening to Those Are the Girls with Mallory and Friends. I'm Mallory,
I'm Victoria.
and we are changing culture and bringing back traditional values.
Happy weekend, everyone. I really hope
Yes.
you cannot hear my annoying roommates in the other room talking. I think
Giggle.
they're being loud. I might have to shut the door.
I can't really hear them.
Okay, they're being loud.
Cackling like a gaggle of girls.
I know, they are like little girls giggling right there. Oh, crap. My door reopened.
Of course.
So we are packing to move, and I just have stuff everywhere right now.
Oh, are you going to talk about that, or are you going to wait to do a separate episode on that?
I mean, I don't know. We'll see who listens to the podcast if they comment on it because we haven't made it public. So,
Okay, yeah, that's why I was like, oh, okay, she's talking about it. All right.
well, we're moving. I'm not gonna say where yet, but it's kind of a big move.
Yeah.
We're finally like moving into a house, which is exciting.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
They're
so you'll
adults of you.
Well, yeah, I mean, we're still renting, but at least it's a house and an apartment.
And still, yeah. You don't have to tell people you're renting. You just be like, yeah, this is our
We
home.
will be in the house. It may or may not be owned by us.
Don't ask us about a mortgage. Mortgage, I don't know her. Yeah. Mortgage,
Don't ask about this housing market. It's way too crazy right now.
Yeah. I have two other friends who wanted to get a house during the season. They said it's awful.
No, it's like anything that's like reasonably priced that's not crap is off the market.
Yeah. My friend said things will be out for like 15 minutes and then gone.
Yeah, and then it's gone. And it's like they paid $20,000 to $30,000 over asking price.
Yeah.
Just so they can get it. And like I think like I've heard people of like seeing like sight on like seeing and paying $20,000 to $30,000 over.
Oh wow. I feel like now is a good time to sell. That was not a good time to buy.
But then you have to buy. That's the issue. It's like,
yeah,
okay, it's
fair.
a good time to sell if you have a second home that you can move into while you're waiting for everything to go down. It's also like, I mean, even like we've looked at like building and even just like resources for building right now. It's just like out there. Like the price of timber is ridiculously high.
I've heard. Yeah. It's just, at least we don't have mean tweets, right?
Yeah. Yay. Well, speaking of like packing, like I had like a big oopsie like this week.
What'd you do?
So I've been working on like Marie Kondoing my home and like getting rid of stuff. And I got rid of something of Sebastian's that I was not supposed to get rid of, and he was like really upset about it.
Oh no. Can you share what it was?
Yes. So I was like, I told him like, hey babe, I'm getting rid of all the DVDs. We had everything like we have on DVD is on streaming now, and we have pretty much all the streaming platforms. And he's like, okay, yeah, that's fine. And I was like talking to him today. I'm like, yeah, like I donated to Goodwill. I went to Goodwill. Cause like I go like, cause like sometimes you can find like real steals in Goodwill. And so like I go to Goodwill and I'm like, oh man, like babe, that Star Wars movies I donated are all gone now. He's like, what? You donated my Star Wars collection?
And I feel like those could be worth money.
Yeah, I didn't realize that. So in my defense, I had bought it for him off Amazon. So this is why I didn't think anything of it. Because I never seen Star Wars. At the time I bought it in like 2019, which I'm very surprised you have it.
I know.
But in 2019, there's no Disney Plus. And so the only way to watch it was like DVD. And so I'm like, all right, well, I'll just buy these because I know Sebastian loves Star Wars. I've never seen them. And so I bought this first 6 movies like group off Amazon for like $40. Sorry about that. And I donated it not thinking like they're on Disney Plus. We have Disney Plus. We're fine. We're Gucci. No need to keep this. I'm Marie Kondoing it. We watched the third movie once. Like, that's it. So, like, we never watched it. We never used them. I'm like, like, someone else can have it. We can just watch it on Disney Plus. And apparently he was like, why would you give this away? This could be worth something. I'm like, well, first off, it's only the first 6 movies. And
those are the ones that are going to be worth something. That's
so I
okay.
looked up, so I was like, okay, like, I'll probably get another one if it means that much. Because I was like, because I went the next day to donate another thing. And so I went inside to look. I'm like, man, those are already gone. Like, the Greatest Showman of mine was still there. Like, all these other great movies were still there. But the Star Wars is gone. I'm like, people not know you can get this from Disney Plus.
They were probably like, oh my God, what a steal.
They were like, oh my God, what this?
Yeah.
Oh God. It was like,
I could have paid $600 for this. Wow.
It wasn't, how can I say it was like a collector's edition? I just bought 6, like, the grouping of like 6 movies, like, collection, not a collector's.
Yeah.
My brother. My first, like, oopsie. And, like, I will say, like, my husband's not big on getting rid of stuff. When I was going through his stuff, I'm like, dude, you have shirts, like, Hollister shirts in here from high school that I've never seen you wear. And so, like, it was, like, a big thing to get him to donate stuff. And, like, definitely donate stuff. Because I'm like, look, like, we're paying movers. And, like, we're paying for, like, how much weight it is. And I'm like, we're not doing that. Like, I'm trying to get everything I can. Yeah.
The next time I move, that's what I'm doing.
Well, we live on the 3rd floor, and like some of the best advice we got was like just hire movers. Like, it's worth it. They'll break down all your furniture, make sure it's like what we're doing is like hiring like just the labor. So honestly, we're just getting them to like break down our furniture, put it all in the truck, and we hired a U-Haul, rented a U-Haul.
So then you'll drive it. Yeah. Are they going to unload it?
No, unloading's not that difficult.
Sure,
it's the breaking down part is the issue.
I'm like, more of a cheerleader than labor type, so it's all. I'd rather show up at the end with your like, welcome. Here's a charcuterie board and some wine.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah, I mean, it's not too bad. Like, the biggest thing is just like breaking down the furniture and wrapping it and putting in the truck so it doesn't get scratched.
Yeah.
That's what I need from them.
Yeah. And especially
I can do everything else.
Especially the 3rd floor. I can't even imagine.
Well, and that's the big thing is like, it's like, so we're gonna like a house like 2 floors, and it's like, it's not that bad, but it's just like the 3 floors, like everything going up and down 3 floors is rough.
Yeah. So your oopsie reminded me of my brother. When I want to say it was President Bush. No, when 9/11 happened, the Spider-Man comics like had some sort of like special edition.
Oh no.
My mom bought it because she's like, oh, this is good. Because like comics in general, comics can like rack up. My brother, being just a comic book kid, trades his comic books all the time. He traded his 9/11 special edition Spider-Man. Yeah.
Yeah.
And my mom was just like, oh my God, like we could be rich. But he traded it. He traded it in because he just didn't know at the time. And now it's like anytime there's like a special edition, any of us will be like, we gotta grab it. Because I didn't realize a lot of those old things that are very niche become very, very popular. Okay, speaking of niche, I gotta tell this story. This is super funny. And then we probably should get into it because we got stuff to say. So last weekend I went to this Valentine's Day party, and it was so fun. It was super cute. It was pink and red and like just so Valentine's Day. So we played this game. It's like it's just like one of those games you buy. I'm pretty sure she got it from Amazon, and like there's different cards that have different meanings. Well, to start the game, you had to whoever had the most followers on Instagram. So everybody's saying how many followers they have, and if you know Instagram, I don't have a lot of followers. I have 3,000 and 3,500 and some change. That's not really a lot. A lot is like 10,000
But
plus.
that's like a good amount though for like the average person.
Sure. So I say how much I have. Everybody's like, oh my gosh, are you popular? Or no, are you a celebrity? Are you an influencer? Are you an influencer? And in my head, I'm like, this really isn't a lot. Like the coveted 10K is really what people don't know. Like 10K is influencer
Well, you
level.
don't
Like,
need that now.
you don't need that now, but you definitely, like 3,000 isn't really getting me as many deals as I'd like. Anyway, that's not the point. So what I'm bringing this up because it was funny because I was like, well, I'm not really, I wouldn't say I'm an influencer, but I would say that in a particular niche, people do value my opinion on certain things. And I was like, these are girls I just met. Do I bring up that topic? Do I bring up the particular niche in front at a party in front of people I don't know? Or do I just laugh it off? So I was like, you know what, I'll laugh it off. Because I feel that'd be really uncomfortable. So, okay, so you're an influencer. Well, I'm kind of in a specific niche. What's the niche? The anti-abortion community. And then that would just, oh, okay. And that I just felt like that would be uncomfortable at a Valentine's Day party with people I literally just met. That's the other thing. Like, even like with work, I have to word how I say it because it's politics, and then people start asking questions, and then God forbid they hate like the person you work for or even the party, and they don't like me because of that. They're not my real friends. But also too, there's an appropriate time and an appropriate place for everything. I just thought that was like a funny antidote. You didn't find it funny?
Yep. Sorry, I'm like dying from like allergies.
Okay, I was like, please laugh.
Oh.
That's how.
No, I thought it was like, I'm just like dying here.
That's how it was speaking with the high schoolers at my old high school. We were like making jokes and they were just like, and I was like, please laugh. Like this, I think it's funny. Please laugh. But I think they cared. They care what we had to say. Because they had questions. Some people had a couple questions at the end. So I was like, okay. They were listening.
Good.
They just didn't find me funny, but that's fine. Gen Z and all their TikTok dances. Okay.
I did a TikTok dance.
I know. I was like, we could have. My brother told me, he was like, when you go up there, just be yourself. Don't do anything weird. Don't do a dance. I was like, I can do this. He's like, seriously, don't try to fit in. Just go up there. And I was like, okay. I did think like, would that be interesting if we did do some sort of dance? But then I was like, no, we haven't been practicing. I didn't think it'd go well. Okay, so the TCAP. Let's get into it. You have a cup near you? Let's drink some tea.
Yeah, I started using like glass or like metal instead of plastic when I
That's
drink water.
good. Plastic is an endocrine.
After our interview that's coming out later this month.
Next month,
really
but yes.
good.
Yes.
Next month.
We're
I
in
don't know
February.
what month it is.
We're still in February. I know.
Are we?
Yeah,
like
I've been in February a long time.
And I'm like, it's so true. It's like February's like the shortest month, but it feels the longest.
Yeah, it really does. Too much stuff happens in February, I feel like. They try to pack too many things. Anyway, so I wanted to not necessarily, I have talk about Kanye on there, but I don't want to talk about Kanye. I just want to talk about this little thing that I saw. So if anybody follows Ruslan on YouTube, he's like a Christian rapper type guy. You would like some of his stuff, Vic. And he just talks about like cultural things. I'll have to send it to you. Anyway, so he made a really good video about like how we should be praying for Kanye, or like, so and I realized I had to check my heart because I saw something about Kanye. I was like, ooh, let me see what that is. So I was listening to it, and then he started pulling up scripture, and I was like, oh, okay, now it's getting boring. And I was like, you know what? No, like, this is the problem. Like, we like to see drama, but when someone brings in scripture, which is where it should always go back to, then we are turned off by it. So I'm going to link the video, and that's the only reason why I wanted to bring it up. I think Ruslan had some really good things, and he used scripture to back up a lot of things he said. And on one of his Instagram posts, I did think this was funny, even though I know he wasn't trying to be funny. He like commented, hey brother, I know a good Christian therapist, and I know he was being dead serious, but it was just funny because I'm like, Kanye probably doesn't even know you, and he probably doesn't care what you have to say, but he was being serious, and he's a nice guy, at least from online. He seems nice. This next thing I meant to ask you before we started recording if you want to talk about it, but we don't have to. It's my brother sent it to me. So apparently in some types of rap music, if you murder someone, you can talk about it in a rap and they can be used against you. But this mayor wants people to stop doing it. We can talk about it next week, but that's what that is.
I know there's like, because Sebastian loves rap.
Oh, I
And
didn't know that.
Oh yeah, he loves rap. That's what he
Okay.
like grew up listening to, is rap. And so there's like some rapper that's like rapping straight about murder and it's like in jail.
Bobby Shmurda, probably.
It's like, I got murder on my mind, like something like that.
Okay.
And it's so creepy. I hate like that song. It's like so creepy when it comes on.
Yeah, I don't know who that
He's
is.
literally singing about murder.
Well, they want to make it illegal. They want to make it illegal. My brother was like, "Oh, you should talk about this on your podcast because technically that goes against your free speech if you can't rap about murder." But it's also like, should you be rapping about murder? Like,
it's
where is the line?
It was like YNW Melly is his name. This is like released in like 2017. I think he's in jail now. But he's like so like creepy looking too. Like,
I'm gonna look him up. YN what?
YNW Melly. It spells like Nelly but with an M. But apparently they're like seeking like the death penalty.
Oh my gosh, he does look kind of creepy.
Like, he just looks so creepy. And it's like he like wrote a song. It's called like Suicidal. Like,
oh, I will say,
mind. He's 20. What's crazy is he's 22 years old. These songs, like his album came out in like 2017, so that's 5 years ago. He's rapping about this when he was 17, 18.
Well, apparently, according to this article, says he'll be released in 2 months. So this is a good plug, even though he doesn't pay us. Bryson Gray has a new song out called Controlled. It's actually really good. Everybody should listen to it if you're going to listen to rap. But we can talk about this next week, or we can keep going with this topic.
Yeah, I'm curious. So
about the free
in
speech,
February 2019, he was arrested and charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder and faces life imprisonment or the death penalty if convicted. He's also a suspect in the 2017 murder of a sheriff's deputy. In 2019, he pleaded not guilty on the double murder charge and is currently awaiting trial.
And so, okay, so the New York City Mayor, Eric Adams, he wants to, it says that he wants to get rid of these. So those type of songs are called drill rap songs. And okay, so it says, and that's terrifying to New York City Mayor Eric Adams. Cops and victims of the genre, sometimes trigger-happy rappers who glorify killing in their songs, are quick to reach for guns to settle disputes. Adam calls to ban drill rap videos with social media following the murder of Jaquan McKinley, an 18-year-old who performed under the name of She Wivitz. I don't know how to say it because there's no vowels. Anyway, and was shot dead in an ambush last week. Oh, wow. Outside of a recording studio in Bed-Stuy as he put the music under scrutiny. Drill rappers are surging in popularity, partly due to their flashy videos. The Brooklyn DA said we've had a number of shootings in Brooklyn recently that are directly related to drill rap. The rappers appear on Facebook Live and Instagram Live, and they're taunting their rivals in rival gang territory, saying, "We're here, come get us."
I mean, honestly, to me, what's the difference between like rapping it and posting like a status saying, "Hey, we're here"? You know, like what's the difference with that? Like, to me, it's not the rap's fault for the gang violence.
It's not.
That's
it's
not
just
gonna solve anything. Because it's like, okay, I go from rapping, this is where I'm located, come get me, to, hey, let me text you, this is my location. Like, what's the difference between that?
I guess their idea is that, like, I guess from their perspective, it's like you're hyping, like more people are seeing it as opposed to just like texting someone, I'm here, pull up.
Well,
More
yeah,
people
but
are
I
seeing it. So
think,
it's ignite, it's
yeah.
like making it almost like popular and cool. Well, listen
Well,
to so
yes,
okay, go
but
ahead.
if they're rapping anyway, not just for this, like, and they just post a picture saying, hey, come see me, like, come get me. Like, what's the difference between them just not rapping this, but still posting about it? Like, I just don't really think the issue is the
The
rap.
rap. It's the
It's,
heart
it's the,
behind it.
yeah, it's the people making the decisions. And
So
it's
to
like,
make
what are you doing to try to find alternatives to this?
right. And the mayor says that this is his quote: "We pulled Trump off of Twitter because of what he was spewing. Yet we're allowing music displaying guns and violence. We're allowed it to stay on these sites." At a press conference, he walked, say, young men and women, we heard you said you were going to ban. Well, someone came up to him and said, "We heard you were going to ban drill rapping." I did not say that. What I said was the violent people who are using drill rapping to post who they killed and then antagonize the people who they're going to kill is what the problem is. They're going to track.
I disagree because I think it helps the cops know who to get off the street.
I'm so torn because I do think, like, and this is a good top. Wow, my brother, I wonder if he actually low key listens. This is a good topic because I'm so torn. Like, it's the person's fault. It's not the rap's
Yeah.
fault. It's not, and I think you made a good point. When I did teen court, there were kids who would post on Facebook, okay, we're going to have a fight at blah blah blah, and the kids would still come, and then there'd be like a whole group of the kids at the school. So like, if like
For the
my
kids that post, hey, I'm gonna bring bomb this school, you don't see
right,
them getting pulled off social media.
right, so it's like, I mean, if they're going to do it, they're going to do it. Kids are always going to find a way to do bad things. So we need to be pushing like the positive. That's how, maybe that's how we should fix it. And like,
Mm-hmm.
I hate that this is even a thing. Like, I didn't even know this was like a thing. And it's crazy. Like, we just need to be pushing like more positive music. And it doesn't even have to be like straight up Jesus, but I don't understand why you're rapping about people killing people. Like, why is that a thing? And there's some
I don't
good rap.
know.
There's good, I mean, you know, even the defamed Kanye West has some good rap songs. Like, it's just,
Ugh, that drama this past week, like, oh, I'm really concerned about him. I've seen a lot of posts. I'm like curious, like I've seen a lot of posts of people posting like, hey, like this is what a toxic relationship looks like. This is what a toxic person looks like. We thought it was okay. We were like, oh, that's sweet that he bought a house across the street from Kim to be closer to the kids. And then he was like, yeah, like, and then we thought, oh, it was sweet when he was like, I don't want our marriage to end. But then it's like, well, why are you dating someone else? And like the way you're posting when Kim finally, like you've been dating like multiple women for a couple years now. And when Kim starts dating, you freak out. And it's just like, I think I don't think he's right in mentally right now, and I don't think it's like safe for the kids because I think you really see like the other side where he's like toxic, unsafe, and might be in an abusive relationship.
I am going to say something that is super controversial.
I'm not
No
saying
one
it is
hate
an
me.
abusive relationship, but I think it might like people are saying like people that are like psychologists are saying like, hey, based off his actions, this looks abusive.
I'm going to say something kind of controversial. Don't hate me, everyone listening. First thing is, Kanye is the definition of not caring about anyone / not having to. nothing. Kanye has already proven nothing he can do can get. He's almost like a god on earth.
He's uncancelable.
Yeah,
like
nothing he can do.
Cancel
His
him.
streams went up because of all of this,
which is sad.
Like, it's. I'll admit, I was like, let me see what this man. I listened to some of his songs.
I was following the drama. I'm like, I did follow him.
I did follow him. I think that he is doing what people who have not, like, not that he has nothing to lose, but like, he can't, no one can really touch him. Like, that's how much of a celebrity he is. No one can really touch him. So he's doing things that the reality, like, for example, sending those flowers. A normal
person can't do.
A normal person cannot do that. Like, that's just impossible. You know, and he doesn't, it doesn't matter to him because he doesn't have to impress anybody. Like, even Kim has to keep up a certain level because she does care about impressing people. So she has to maintain a certain level. And I do too. I maintain a certain level of certain things. I was debating whether I was going to say this opinion because I do have to maintain a certain level. Kanye doesn't have to do that. Now, do I think he's gone off the deep end? Yeah, he's gotten a little crazy. I really hesitate to say it's abusive. I mean, say whatever. I would want someone to fight for me if I was.
Yeah,
I would want
I
someone
think
to fight
there's
for
a
me.
difference between like fighting for you and like, because fighting for you is like, okay, so hypothetically speaking, like you're Kim, I'm Kanye. If I truly was fighting for you, I would not be dating other women. I would not be buying a ranch that is in states away. And I would not be posting our personal messages and like all over social media and making this like a public display. Like, I would be going like, I'm going to fight for you and show you I care about you and what's important to you.
Because we're normal. Like, Kanye lives in a whole nother world. In his mind, I don't know what's in his mind, but, you know,
I think he's gone manic.
Well, being devil's advocate, he knows that Kim cares about social media. He knows that's what she's looking at. How do you reach her if she's not returning your text? If she's not doing anything, how do you reach her?
But I
go on social media.
If you look at the screenshots of texts he posted, they're talking back and forth.
Yeah, but they might not have been talking before that. I don't know. I'm just saying, like, if I was dating someone who was super into social media, how do you get their attention? You go on social media. I think it's inappropriate, and we know that that's wrong. But, like, I mean, he even said he didn't understand that all caps means you're yelling. I mean, how out of touch can you be? That you don't understand.
I think it was his manager taking his phone away and doing the post themselves. Like,
see, I don't think that. I don't know. But here's the thing: we don't even know. We don't know what's really going on. His new album is coming out, and you know, because
that's what people have said too, is like he's doing this for publicity, but
I don't know if he's doing it for publicity. I'm just saying, like,
well, I think, like, I mean, Kim has talked about it for, like, the last time he acted like this, he was having like mental health issues and kind of gone manic. I'll also think it's that.
I low-key don't like how we always jump to manic because I feel
no, he's like I think they've been like professionally diagnosed. It's like
no, he's never been professionally diagnosed. That's just what the whole world. Let me triple check. I'm pretty sure he has never been professionally diagnosed.
That's just what the whole world says. Talking.
Okay. Like, well, even if he, like, I don't like how we just automatically start assuming, like, yeah, he is this. Like, he's definitely in the middle of a mental health crisis. Maybe I really think part of it is, like, he just does not have. Okay, Harley Quinn.
He has bipolar disorder. In an interview with David Letterman, West detailed his experience with the disorder, saying that during an episode, everything can feel like a conspiracy. You feel the government is putting chips in your head, he told Letterman, adding that he only got his diagnosis 2 years prior to the 2019 interview.
Okay.
So he's been diagnosed with bipolar disorder. And then, like, even like in August 1st, 2020, he apparently, like, Kanye apologized, and then something about Kim.
I'm not saying that I'm pro Kanye. I'm just giving an
Oh yeah, so
alternative
he has
opinion.
since apologized to wife Kim Kardashian, was saying to Kim, I want to say I know I hurt you. Please forgive me. Thank you for always being there for me. She's asked for compassion for her husband, knowing that those who are close with Kanye know his heart and understand his words sometimes do not align with his intentions. I just think it's not a healthy, like, he's just not healthy right now.
I think that could be it, but I also really think that he's just doing like what if we had the money and if we did not care about like he's not picking up on social cues. Like I really think that has a lot to
That's
do with it
part of
too.
the disorder.
There's some people who don't have disorders that don't pick up on social cues though.
Well, no, but I think it's part of when he's in like manic. It's kind of like,
I mean, I know what manic is. I know what
yeah.
manic is.
Well, especially if like bipolar, you kind of have like he said, he's like, I feel like the world's out to get me when I'm in manic, which based on his actions and what he's saying, it sounds like he's describing the world's out to get him.
I low key, because I feel, I don't know. I think
like the Kardashians gonna put on a front saying, hey, like everything's good and fine and dandy, but I think like deep down, like there's something definitely off about him.
And that, okay, so that goes back to what I was saying. They're going to put up the front because they have that in them. Have you seen, what's that movie with the girl? She, if you're watching, you're probably just as confused as Vic. Gosh, it says Daddy's Little Monster. Harley Quinn. Okay. Have you seen any of the movies with Harley Quinn?
No.
I'm sorry. That was not a good description of her. Ignore what you just saw. But anyway, so what I realized about Harley Quinn is Harley Quinn has this thing in her where she does not care. She will do whatever. Like, I don't.
But doesn't Harley Quinn have like bipolar disorder too?
I think Harley Quinn is just crazy. But there's people who.
Well, yeah.
There's people who like just. Maybe it's because I admire them. I admire being able to just go out and do stuff. Maybe that's why I'm like, not, I don't want to say I'm defending him, but I'm just giving up an alternative point of view. And I've seen a lot of people make this. I've seen two things that people have said. People have said, everybody's mad at Kanye, but this is Kim's fourth divorce, which I think is an interesting take. I saw another thing. It was like
her third.
Ray J. Might be her third.
Chris and Kanye. But I will say, like, I think people are like, I know like the morning toast is like, you really can't count the first two. The first one, she was like, what, 18? And that lasted not long. Her other marriage lasted like 72 days. It wasn't really a marriage.
Yeah, but if you value marriage like neither one, that's not okay.
Because if you that's what she was saying on like the Keeping Up with the Kardashians. I remember them talking about it, saying like, she was like, I can't believe I have to go through like my third divorce before like I'm 40. And the girls were like, yeah, like, I mean, you really like, how is this like a third divorce? Like the other two, like her first two marriages were not marriages. Yeah, paper-wise they were, but
yeah. Nah, I disagree. If you're gonna say you're gonna be there forever, you're gonna make that. I don't care how old you are. I don't care. 72 days. It's a legit marriage, and I think.
Well, yeah, I know like, when you do the paperwork and all that jazz, but like, I mean, it wasn't. I look at it like it's not a true emotion. Like emotionally, I don't think it was like a marriage. Does that make sense? I think they're just kind of more caught up in
the hype
and the concept of marriage.
Anyway, the other thing I saw, it said like, notice how we're the only ones calling Kim crazy, but none of Kim's friends or family have said anything. Or I'm sorry, we're calling Kanye crazy, but none of Kim's friends and family said anything. Which made me think about how you said they probably are just putting up a front to like put a smile on. Everything's gonna be okay. It's almost over, I'm sure. So that made me think of that. But I don't know. I hate that we're involved.
Say, like, I feel like I wouldn't. And I think Kim wanted this to be a private matter.
Oh, I'm sure
Like,
most people do.
well, that's what I'm saying. It's like, why is Kanye making this a public matter when everyone, and that's why you're not seeing, because like, that's why you're not seeing the Kardashians commenting on it. And like,
Yeah.
I know they were saying like anything like with like Kanye or any of like the other siblings, like significant others, they get the permission to show it on the show. Like Kanye and like stuff with Kanye was like rarely shown because Kanye didn't want to be shown on the show, but Kim had to like ask for permission.
Had to ask Kanye for permission to show him.
Yeah, because it's just like
Well, I
yeah.
don't think that's weird.
Well, no, but that's what I'm saying. Like for the fact that, because you were saying like, well, they don't talk about it, but they did talk about it on Keeping Up the Kardashians. But it was more from the perspective of Kim like not wanting like a third divorce. But it's like anything that they talk about has to be kind of like approved beforehand.
Okay, fair.
Put
Okay,
that
fair.
out.
Right. Yeah, that was just something that I saw. I'm not necessarily saying I agree or disagree with that. I don't know. I saw another thing. It was like, hey, can you take me out of this group chat? I never asked to be in this. And that's also how I feel. Like, it feels like we're in people's like marital, and I don't like that. Like, leave us out. But I was, like I said, I think his mindset is, she cares so much about social media, I'm gonna get her attention, I'm gonna be on social media. I feel like that's what it is. I
think he's definitely wanting attention from her because he's absolutely not getting it. I don't, yeah, he's not going the right bit about it, but
yeah. And last thing I'm gonna say, I just hesitate saying that he's abusive. I just hesitate. He could be. He very well could be. But I hesitate.
But I've seen people say like, hey, like I was in an abusive relationship and this looks abusive to me.
And I do this with a lot of things I do, and people can call me out on this, but I do feel like a lot of times people tend to project. So I don't put a lot of stock when people say that. You know, I don't know. Anyway, that's our opinion on Kanye. Don't hate me. I'm not saying that it's everything he's doing is great. My only takeaway is,
I don't think anyone would say what he's doing is great. It's just like he's trying to get her attention and he's just,
and it's inappropriate. It's inappropriate, and I want out of the group chat. Okay, so our next story.
So our next story is, you want to go ahead?
Yeah, go ahead. Former staff, that one.
Okay, so former staff say abortion clinic owner covered up sexual abuse, lied about being a nurse. 3 former abortion workers have accused the North Carolina abortion facility owner of brandishing a shotgun, lying about being a nurse, and other bizarre behavior in a whistleblower complaint to state health authorities. The Daily Wire reports the whistleblowers are former employees of Family Reproductive Health, an abortion facility in Charlotte owned and run by Deborah Jane Walsh. Walsh would tell patients unusual things such as the abortion was only being performed on a spirit or a fairy, one of the former abortion workers said, according to the report. Miss Walsh's unusual behavior, combined with her keeping a firearm on the premises, made clinic staff, including myself, fearful for our safety and the safety of others. Walsh also is accused of promoting herself as a nurse, even though her nursing license expired 7 years ago. According to the Daily Wire, the North Carolina Board of Nursing website says Walsh's nursing license expired in 2015, but still describes herself as a nurse on the abortion facility website. One of the whistleblowers also described a situation in which Walsh appeared to be facilitating underage abortions, potentially enabling sex trafficking. I saw a man bring to the clinic a girl seeking an abortion. The girl seeking an abortion appeared to be under 16 years of age, although I did not verify her age since I was not involved in her care. Later, another worker at the clinic told me the same man had been there on prior occasions with different women or girls each time, the former employee said, according to the women's legal team. Another whistleblower said Walsh lived at the abortion facility, sleeping and cooking there, and often appearing disoriented and confused, according to the report. One of the whistleblowers said she was particularly disturbed one day when she heard a gun chambering around and then saw Walsh walk up with a shotgun. She said Walsh told her she thought burglars were in the abortion facility and And sorry, I just got a notification on my phone. So I get notifications when our credit card gets used, and I did not realize Sebastian and Juan left to go get a beer. So I got a notification of like from a credit card. Sorry about that. She said Walsh told her she thought burglars were in the abortion facility, and Walsh appeared to believe the abortion workers were the burglars.
This is a crazy story that should be shared everywhere because it shows just some of the behind the scenes that happens in abortion facilities. If you live in Charlotte, this is the Hebron one. This isn't the one that Love Life goes to, but I know people that pray outside of this one. That's crazy. That's so crazy. And if you listen to
Have you been to this one before?
I've driven past it. I haven't been to this one. I've driven past it though. And I know people that pray outside of that one. And I'm like, I wouldn't share. I shared this on my Facebook, you guys. So if you're friends with me on Facebook, check it out. And obviously we're going to link it in our show notes thing. But isn't this a crazy story?
I saw it and I just like could not. I just
in Charlotte.
Like, first off, like in Charlotte, and I'm like, you expect to hear these stories in like a third world country, you know, yes. Like not like the US and not in like Charlotte, and it's like, yes. I just can't imagine, like, first off, getting an abortion, but secondly, you're going to get an abortion at like you know, your clinic
with all of these, a clinic with all of these issues. People don't know though.
What's crazy? It's like you're putting these girls are putting their health at risk, not even realizing they are, because they're told this is a woman's health care.
Mm-hmm. And that's why pregnancy resource centers are so freaking important. Like we need to be talking about them as often as possible.
And it's just so sad that these women, like, has anyone died there? That's what's crazy. Like, has any this woman caused death to anyone?
I'm sure. So Students for Life is doing a thing where they're going and trying to see. So I'm definitely going to send this to my friend that works there and just be like, hey, let's see what we can do in Charlotte. What they're doing is they're like doing the abortion-free city campaign. They're doing one in Chapel Hill, Raleigh. How far is Chapel Hill? Is in Raleigh, right?
Yeah, it's like 20-30 minutes outside of Raleigh.
They're doing a campaign, like door knocking, to let people know about their clinics in that area that have situations like this. And then, and by the way, the pregnancy resource center is right down the street. They're doing that. What happened?
So Juan and Sebastian went to go get a beer and they took Kennedy with them, and I had no idea.
Oh wow.
I got a picture.
Aw. That's how ingrained you are in the pod.
Such a serious topic, but I don't know how I missed them completely leaving.
We were talking about Kim and Kanye, and it got really intense. I think you were really in it. But yeah, so I think that it's why pregnancy resource centers are so important. And I also too, it's baffling to me that they don't report things like that. If a man is continually coming in with girls that look underage, I mean, you got to report it. It's better safe than sorry. But remember, I don't know if you listened to that one Melanie and I did with the lady who used to work at Planned Parenthood, but she said that happened. Like, they would have people come in and be like, well, they have the right ID. And it's like, there's something off, but they have the right, they still pay.
Yeah, the right information.
Yeah, and that's just so...
Don't ask, don't tell.
Yeah. That's just... That's terrible. And I just don't understand, like, how you can just watch girls do that. As a woman, how do you sit there and watch other girls do that? And then this Walsh lady sounds like she is going through some stuff. She keeps a shotgun there. Is she like waiting for something?
She lives there?
That is crazy. Isn't that a health violation? Like, you're not supposed to live in...
What?
Can you live in a... Isn't it supposed to be like super
No, I
sterile?
think it has to be so, but like, I don't, well, I think there's a difference if it's like separated, like you live upstairs versus the first floor.
That's not what it sounds like. I don't know. We don't know
Well,
how
no, I
it's
know
set
that's
up.
not what it sounds like, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I think that
Yeah.
could be an option.
Yeah, that's so crazy. But and it happened in Charlotte. So I want to reiterate to everybody listening, pregnancy resource centers are so important. Please find your local one and see what you can do. If you can't donate time, if you can't donate if you can't donate money, or donate your time, we got to. For the health of our fellow sisters, really. I cannot imagine the wacky things, not just like the death and destruction that happened, but even just wacky things that could have happened. She said it was formed on a spirit or a fairy. And talk about misinformation.
Yeah,
and
it sounds
lying.
like she's using like the crystals and like.
Oh, I bet she does.
All that fun jazz.
I bet she does do the crystals and yeah. Oh God, it's no big deal. Like it's whatever. Yeah. Oh my goodness. I'll do a quick mid-roll ad and then we can go to one that I feel like you would like. I put in a sportsy for our sportsy gal.
Finally, just kidding.
Something you can really talk about. Y'all go to litlco.com, user code those girls to get 10% off cute, spiritually based and run clothes and accessories. They do not cave to cancel culture. All right.
And we listened listen to our incredible interview with the owner.
Yes.
All right, so trans swimmer revives an old debate in elite sports. What defines a woman? For nearly a century, certain elite athletes have been subject to anatomical chromosomal or hormonal testing to compete in women's sports. At the Ivy League Women's Swimming Championships this week, many eyes in the crowd will be fixed on Leah Thomas, a star of the University of Pennsylvania team. In recent months, Thomas has made headlines not only for her speed, handily winning one Ohio race that went viral, but also for her gender identity. In 2019, while competing on the men's team, Thomas began to medically transition, taking testosterone blockers and estrogen. Although her swimming time slowed considerably, she's still a top competitor in several women's events, raising questions about the role of testosterone in athletic performance. You know, it's interesting, the last sentence about when she took these blockers and estrogen, her time still slowed down. So it's really interesting to like see like how like our specific hormones really do like affect our bodies, you know? Like when he was
the person. Let's just say the person. Let's not use pronouns. The person.
When they started taking
that's even a pronoun.
When they started taking female hormones, it affected their performance. So I think it really just shows like we're all different and like and it's not a bad thing. Like it's nothing bad. It's like it's just what makes us like beautiful and incredible people.
How do you feel? So like I feel like you've talked about it before, but there is a difference.
As a female athlete, like there's a difference between like men and women. And like I played college golf and like for like there's a difference between like how far I can hit the ball versus I mean even a girl that's like a foot taller than me, you know? But especially like a man, it's like a huge difference. And like we played different tees and different yardages and like there's definitely like a difference between like men's and women's basketball and like
have you seen that
times.
Viral video of that girl? I think her name is Brittany. Saying she wants to not fight. She wants to go against. I think it's like LeBron James, and she says I can do it. And then all the men are like, "Have you seen that video?"
No.
Okay, but I think it just like shows like, you know, I'm gonna be team girl because yay girl power, but like she can't beat LeBron James. We don't even know who she is. Brittany Grenier or
I
something like
mean,
that.
heck, if she wants to, go for it.
Yeah, I
Like,
want her to do it.
there's, yeah.
But she's not gonna. There's just a
Okay, so
difference.
I read a book, and this is really like, it's called Detransition Baby, and it's definitely a left-leaning book. It talks about abortion and abortion in a positive manner, but it gave me a big insight into the transgender community and understanding like kind of like the technology. So it was written by a transgender woman.
Hmm.
And so you really kind of get the insight of like I would say the trauma of like them feeling like they've been born as the wrong gender. And I'm not like praising it, condoning it, or whatever. But I really, for me, I've never been around a transgender person,
I realize I've never been around
and
someone transgender either.
I honestly don't know anyone who's trans. And so for me, this book, like even though it talked about a lot of like left leaning discussion, it really opened my eyes. And what's interesting too about this book is that in part of the discussion, the author was nominated and I think won a big female literary award. And there was a lot of discussion should she had won it, which is ironic because that's kind of the point of the book too. And
Yeah.
it's just like really interesting because the book's about like, I mean, it's about this couple, but a lot of the discussion was this man who transitioned to a woman but still didn't feel right, and then detransitioned to a back to a man. But and so the man's name was James, which is funny, but the man's name was James, and then transitioned to Amy, but then detransitioned and changed their name to Ames. And so it just kind of talks about like gender identity and just really kind of like the struggles transgenders go through. And so it was really eye-opening for me. Like I'm not like praising it or condoning it, but like the concept of transgenderism, is that the right, being transgender? But for someone that's never been around it, it was like really eye-opening. It helped me understand it better.
I think it can. So I think I get what you're saying. It is a very good way of learning so you can have more compassion, but that doesn't mean
Yes.
you're condoning. Like you,
Yes.
yeah. And that's exactly how I feel. Because I think about, I love being a girl. I really do. Like, I mean, if you see, I'm the stereotypical girl, super girly. I could, when girls like, yeah, when I was younger, I was a tomboy. Was not me. Cannot relate.
No, I
Been
mean I was a
girly.
tomboy. I didn't care about my clothes until middle
Oh,
school.
never been that way. I've loved being a girl. Absolutely love it. There's nothing about being a girl I do not like. I used to say even I didn't like my period. No, I recognize that that's a fifth vital sign and I'm proud of it. Okay. So I can't imagine being born a boy and feeling all of this still. You know what I mean? So I have so much compassion, but I think we know it's a mental illness. And I think that when we hear that, there's so much deeper about it. So I think part of the problem is we're not treating it like a mental illness, because if the person woke up and said, well, I mean, we already do this, like the kid that's a wolf, like, you know, that in all metaphysical areas, I'm a wolf. Remember that video was like super popular for a while?
No.
Okay, wow. She
Not
is
a
not part
YouTube
of the
trendy video.
culture.
No.
She is not part of the culture. Okay, so it was this video that was super popular, like when we were in college, that it was this guy. It was just a
Yeah,
clip
I
from,
was studying.
oh, not me. I'm just joking. I graduated. Anyway, it was like this clip from a documentary where the guy goes, in all metaphysical uh in my physical appearance, I'm a man, but metaphysically, I'm a wolf. And then he howls. And like, that was like, that's so funny. He's so crazy. But I actually watched the documentary, and honestly, it's really sad. Like, it's this kid legitimately thinks that he is a wolf. Like, he thinks that he has wolf in him. And like, I just remember his parents were saying, there's nothing we can do. Oh, that's what he thinks. What are we going to do? And it's like, no, you can get him some help, because that is not okay. And I feel like unfortunately, that's the direction transgenderism goes in, A. And then B, I feel like if we're not doing anything and we just can't allow people, like how people don't want Kanye to do stuff, I think that we also, because of mental illness, I think we should also care about people like that. I think also too, we also, just like how we have compassion for Kanye because he's going through something, we should have compassion for people who are trans as well. And I think that I'll tell you this, I got a different perspective. I still stay strong in my beliefs, but I get a different perspective when I watch an episode. I tried to watch The Bold Type again, and still couldn't finish it. I loved it at the beginning. And I tried to watch The Bold Type again, and they actually had an episode where it was this person, I don't remember which way they were going, but it was this person, they wanted to run like a 5K or something, but they were I think they were under the male category, but they wanted to be under the female category, and they just felt like they weren't being true to themselves, and they couldn't run under the female category, but it was too late to switch over to the female category. So they just really made it emotional, and they really pulled at the heartstrings. And I just remember thinking, I never thought of it that way. I still think that you cannot support that person. You can't, it's still a mental illness, but I do think we need to have compassion and also pray for the person too. I think a lot of times we are not praying.
The biggest takeaway I got it's just they didn't feel comfortable in their own skin. And so I think finding a way, I don't know how this would look or work, it's just finding a way to make them comfortable with being who they are. So I don't know.
Yes, I agree.
Don't think, and kind of going back, it's I don't think it's letting people who were transgender women swimming against women. I don't think that's the way to go. No. I don't know, but it's also I don't know if the right call would be letting them have their own category.
I don't think so either. I think that would,
but if they're not comfortable being a man, then that I see that, but that's what I don't know. I don't think they should be swimming against women because it's very different.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think there's also enough for their own category too.
Yeah, there isn't. And then they should still, I think that's why they should just stay with their sex assigned at birth. I'm using quotes. I think they should just stay with that. And if they end up looking more effeminate because of the hormones, then so be it. I really think that thank God that I think everybody has a sin and a struggle. I'll be honest, mine, for example, is my weight. That I can't imagine the gender thing, but I can imagine hating your body. Being real and transparent, just trying to relate to the story. I don't know what it means to love your body. So I don't know the answer in that sense.
And I think that's my understanding from the book. It's a lot of they don't love who they are. They don't feel comfortable in the body they were born in.
Right.
And so I think that is a good comparison because one of the other main characters was a cis woman who was biracial. And so they kind of compared the being biracial in a time where it wasn't being born to biracial parents in the 70s.
Ooh, yeah.
And so it was a lot of discussion of between a cis woman but being biracial and because some of the discussion was it was I think it was her dad was white, her mom was Asian, if I recall. But even the Asian community telling her mom, why would you want to bring a kid into the world? like being biracial.
Yeah.
And
So like
it's I will say I gave it like 2-3 stars because I'm like I didn't like how it ended because it didn't like wrap everything up, in my opinion. But for like it was like really eye-opening.
Well, I say that in the sense of like God, because of sin, not because of God, because of sin, we all have our own things. And I am grateful that the transgender thing is not my thing and, you know, other things are not my things. I am grateful for that. But we all have our things. And this is just like a fight and a battle we have to have. And I hate that for people who feel that way. I think that's why also, too, we got to do better as like the church to be able to, like, if someone in your youth group comes up telling you that they feel this way, you can't automatically go, oh my God, you can't react that way, which I'm sure the church has been doing for years. This is why we need to have conversations, work on why you should, for example, for girls, why you should love being a girl. Right now, if you watch the news, if you are on Twitter, I get why a girl might not want to be a girl. If you are on Twitter, you're watching the news, that make being a girl sound terrible. So like that's why we need to be the ones who are, the church specifically needs to be the ones who are like, okay, this is why you feel that way. Let's discuss. Let's talk more. Oh, maybe this other thing is happening. And yeah, we cannot okay it because then it turns into things like this. And it's disordered. It's not how God created us. And if we're going to say that God makes no mistakes, you know, how did he make a mistake in that and making you your gender?
Yeah. Wow. I mean, I think regardless, we need to love people wherever they're at.
I think so too. I think no matter what, we have to love people. And I think we need to have compassion. Absolutely. Absolutely. So don't have an OG blah 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 for you guys today, but just remember to shop at Culture of Life 1972. They have super cute things. They just released this coat that I'm obsessed with, and if there's one left in my size, I might get it in the beginning of the month of March. I don't know. I keep looking at it. I like look at it. I'm like, no, I shouldn't. Maybe I shouldn't. No, I shouldn't. It's super cute. You guys should check it out. If you go to COL1972.com and use our code THOSEOTHERGIRLS1972, you get 10% off. And that's today's show. That's a wrap. We talked a lot about a bunch of random things, like 3 things that weren't even on the docket, but that's okay. That's what happens when you have a live, unedited, that's what this is, an unedited show. Woo! If you are enjoying this, make sure you rate, review, subscribe. And if you are listening to Apple Podcasts, please make sure you review. It really helps with the algorithm. Remember, you guys, our goal is to eventually be in the top 200 in society, but we can't do that without you. So make sure you're sharing this and you're telling everyone. Go over to our merch store. We are wrapping up with our winter collection. I have some cool, really cute things coming out for our spring collection you guys are going to absolutely love. We also have some cool things going on for Gorgeous Girls Vote. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel because our videos are going to be on YouTube, and you're not going to want to miss what we're going to be doing with that. You're also not going to want to miss like some of the things coming up. Like this year, you guys, we're in midterms and we have some really cool things going forward. We have some really cool episodes that we're going to do. The month of March is Women's History Month. Our interviews are going to blow you away. You're going to be like, oh my gosh, this is such a great episode. I should have told all my friends back in February to listen. And so go ahead and do that now so you don't have to say that in March. Trying to think of anything else. Anything else I should add, Vic?
I don't think so.
Alrighty. So everyone, thank you so much and have a good rest of the day, night, evening, whenever you're listening to this. Bye.
Bye, guys.